and welcome back to the channel. Now this is the very first edition of Star Wars Matters. So basically what we do in this addition to the channel is we break down and we have a spoiler discussion of any Star Wars content whatsoever. And today I'm going to have a guest. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 1 Chapter 9, The Marshals. So that's what I'm really looking forward to talking about with you guys tonight. Episode 2 is dropping today on Disney Plus. Well, whatever you are in the world, a certain time frame, and I'm looking forward to episode 2. But tonight I want to discuss and spoil with you guys episode 1. Now some of you may have already seen the Mandalorian new episode, so hopefully you have seen it. So we're going to have a spoiler discussion. So if you haven't seen it, then probably check out of this spoiler discussion and come back later on when you've seen the episode. But if you're watching live, get in the discussion. If you're watching later on Instagram or YouTube, let us know in the comments what you have to think. But tonight I have a guest, my good friend Max from Italy, and Max, better known on Twitter as Soups Batsy. He's going to join us to talk about this spoiler discussion. So I have to try and invite him right now. And connection. We're a long way away, different galaxies. So let's see now if he can come in.
Hi,
Hi
Sean.
man, how are you doing?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Good. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Absolutely, perfectly.
Yeah.
Can you see me? Hear me?
Everything's good. Yeah, everything's good.
I wear something.
Oh, you got your Star Wars top on.
I literally bought that yesterday. It's wonderful.
Comfy. We need to know at this time of the year. I have my dark side hat on, and
Perfect.
yeah, and I bought this. I actually bought this about 2 years ago, and I don't really wear caps like this, so I have them on a shelf. But I said I'd put it on for tonight's video, and then I was trying to put it on, and I felt something here, like something inside the hat, and I was like, "What is this?" So I took off my hat and I looked, and then there was a switch on and off, and I pressed the on switch, and the red light comes on. I never knew. I've had it for 2 years. So
and it works 2 years after. So
yeah, it's pretty good. So
yeah.
I'm turning to the dark side. So yeah, just be careful. Yeah, but no, basically what we're doing now on the channel. So it's going to be on Instagram, it's going to be on YouTube, and this is the first addition to it. So you're the first guest for Star Wars Matters, and we take any Star Wars content, film, TV, animation, and we break it down. We talk about it in a spoiler format and just have some fun with it. So did you enjoy The Mandalorian Season 1, Max? Did you like the season 1?
I really loved it. I think that it was the perfect change from the movie drama that happened on the big screen. Although I am one of those that enjoyed the sequel trilogy, and I think that this new era of Star Wars, the Disney Plus streaming Star Wars, is going to be quite possibly the definitive version of modern Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it takes the original stuff, some bits even from the non-canonical stuff, we can say. Yeah. And it translates in something perfect, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I'm not a massive Star Wars fan. Like I didn't grow up with it, or with the prequels or anything like that. I got into it much later, so I'm kind of not critical as much as probably diehard Star Wars fan of the content, and especially the Disney content that we've seen in the last few years. But I will say I preferred the prequel stuff that they've done, like Rogue One, Han Solo, and The Mandalorian. I've enjoyed those things a little bit more. I like the trilogy that they do with Rey and Kylo Ren and stuff like that. But The Mandalorian, Rogue One, Han Solo, they're the kind of things that really got me into this Disney Star Wars universe that they're trying to do. But I appreciate the prequels and the old films as well. But I'm not critical. Like I'm critical of DC or Marvel stuff because I grew up watching those products. But with the Star Wars content, I'm kind of just sitting back, relaxing, and just getting into it and watching it. And for The Mandalorian Season 1, I had a great time. I thought it was fun. It was kind of like a video game because there's a mission each episode, and it's trying to tell a story. And there's a certain mission in this episode, and I think it works pretty well. So I was really looking forward to Season 2.
It's really cool with the things you say about the video game parallel, because it also has the upgrades with the armor, with the Beskar armor. Yeah, he gets to finish his mission. he gets a new piece of armor. He then gets all the armor, and that it's really, really. I think that they planned it. Maybe also because a large part of the Star Wars fandom. I'm with you. I didn't grow up loving the Star Wars saga as much as many others.
Yeah.
I got into it like when I was 20, but I think that it's something that the new Disney saga it's going to be maybe appreciated a little bit more in the next few decades, perhaps. Like the prequels are now really more appreciated than when they came out.
Yeah, it's very true, and I think that probably will happen. I always loved the dynamic between Kylo Ren and Rey in the trilogy. I thought that was the best part of the trilogy, their relationship. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think it will get its fan base, just like the prequels is getting its fan base now. So when a new trilogy comes out in 10 or 15 years from now, it'll be compared to the trilogy that we have now, and then people will be like, well, it wasn't too bad, that kind of way. But anyway, let's get into the Mandalorian. So this was chapter 9 called The Marshal, season 2, episode 1. And so basically it starts off with the Mandalorian. He's with Baby Yoda. He's trying to find out information about Baby Yoda's kind, but he also wants to find more Mandalorians to help him on his task, because there is people after him. People want Baby Yoda because the powers that the Baby Yoda possesses, and it's because it's cute, and because it's cute. But it starts off, he goes to this kind of underground boxing place, and there's kind of, I wrote down Gamorreans are fighting in the ring, these kind of green aliens. But he what did you think of the opening sequence where he goes into this boxing club and then he is trying to find out information, but then the tables are turned and the guys try and take Baby Yoda, try and take his armor?
I think that was the perfect opening for a new season, but also not something like I don't know if you're familiar with the original, the old 007 movies, James Bond.
Yeah.
In the opening, we always saw a small scene with Bond doing some kind of mission. Then something happened, cut to credits, and then the story would begin. And I felt like that was exactly the same. This short introduction that brought us back into the Mandalorian vibe, the Mandalorian theme. And then we saw to see like this action-packed scene with an amazing stunt performance by all the characters. I really, really loved it. Also, I'm finding myself to enjoy really, really, really more the atmosphere regarding the usage of the CGI.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was an upgrade from season 1 that already was great, but this season, this episode felt a bit more high quality than before. And that's something, yeah.
It feels like a film. It really does. And like even when they're having action-packed scenes or CGI, it looks of a film quality. And we'll get to the dragon later on in the episode, but it looks pretty well. And what I liked about the fight scene was he wasn't using a gun in that fight scene. He was using his fists, And also another weapon he used was his armor. So when guys were trying to punch him or headbutt him, they would get hurt because his armor is protecting him. And I like that.
In some ways, it remembered the Ben Affleck scenes in Batman vs Superman when he fights in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Where when he uses the helmet to hit someone, and then in the warehouse scene, he also uses the helmet to hit. Not in the Superman fight. He uses the helmet to headbutt Superman. I really like when the stunt choreography goes a little bit more creative than just punch. Avoid punch. It was really well done.
Yeah, because if you saw the bad guys trying to punch Mando and they didn't feel that, and then you'd be like, that doesn't make any sense, And then even him using a headbutt, different kind of things brought into the fight. Because like before, it was just kind of gun or flying in the air and stuff. But it was good that they brought something new to it. And the part that I really loved is there's a great line. He has the guy hunt out the alien out of the lamppost, and he wants to find out information. And the alien goes, please don't kill me. Don't kill me. I'll give you the information. And then Mando goes, I wrote down, you won't die by my hands. Brilliant line. He gets the information that he wants, and then he just walks away. He shoots the light, and then these little alien red-eyed monsters come and are just about to eat the guy alive. What do you think of the savagery in that scene?
I love that how even though now we see Mando with a slightly less brutal side with the child besides him. I love how they said with his opening, yeah, he has a child, he is caring for him, but he is also ruthless. He is also a Mandalorian that wants up and nothing to complete his task. I really, really loved how brutal it was to say, I won't kill you. I personally won't kill you.
Yeah.
But it left him to die, and I really liked it, yeah.
Yeah, because he was going to kill Mando to get his armor. He was going to take the child anyway. So Mando wasn't going to show any mercy that way because he does have this child and he wants to keep it protected. But that was brilliant. And then the title comes up, The Mandalorian. And then I'm like, that they showed so much already and the episode hasn't even started. So that was really cool, you know. And so basically he wants to find more Mandalorians and he has told Tatooine. So Tatooine has a huge historic presence in the Star Wars universe. And it kind of, sometimes it's probably like, it might be used too much, but I suppose people know it. And even if you're not a diehard Star Wars fan, you'll probably know Tatooine from the film, watching the film. So I understand why they use that planet a lot. But he goes back to kind of get his ship repaired. And this kind of season, he likes droids a little bit more. Remember last season, he didn't have anything to do with droids whatsoever. But then the droid last season sacrificed himself for Baby Yoda. And now he kind of has more of a likeness and understanding towards them. But he got a speeder bike, and then he set on his journey to find this kind of town that he didn't know, that he couldn't find on the map. He got the information of where it was, and he got instead of using his ship to go to the town, he was told that the people would see you coming straight away. So he got a speeder bike. What did you make of the showdown in the bar? He comes into this bar. He's looking for a Mandalorian. He heard there's a Mandalorian in this town. And then a Mandalorian comes in, and it looks like it's a Boba Fett armor, but the armor doesn't fit that well. What did you think of the exchange between the Mandalorian and Cobb Vanth when he came in the Boba Fett suit?
I thought that it was really a perfect adaptation of the Western theme, of something that perhaps we didn't see too much of in the first season. A classic standoff with the two of them talking but ready to kill each other because but let's say Cobb Vanth, the second Mandalorian, let's say the Marshal, didn't actually want to kill him at first, but I really loved how they showed this this dynamic, this brutal dynamic that grounded the scene really a lot.
Yeah, because they talked about the Western vibe. They have used Western vibes in this a lot. And like the Western genre is a bit dead in terms of a Western movie coming out or a Western TV show that's just a Western. That's kind of dead. Audiences they're not really attracted to that as much. But we see it implemented into huge IPs, like into The Mandalorian, Star Wars, like Logan, the Wolverine film. That had a lot of Western vibes to it. And I had another one in my head, I can't think of it right now, but it's using the Western vibes a lot. And they bring in these huge IPs, and it works. They do it kind of well. I find that very interesting. But yeah, the showdown. Now, Timothy Olyphant, I always mix up his name, but he's playing Cobb Vanth. I love him as an actor. Absolutely love him. I'll watch anything that he's in. And like he's kind of typecast as a cowboy sheriff because Justified, the TV show, I don't know if you've seen it, he plays a cowboy kind of in that. There's another one called, I think, Redwood or Deadwood or something like that. He plays another cowboy.
Yeah, Deadwood, yeah.
Yeah. And then in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Quentin Tarantino, he was playing a cowboy in that as well. And now in this, The Mandalorian, he's kind of like a cowboy sheriff as well. But he plays the role so well. And that dynamic, that showdown between him and Mando, you were like, you got the Western vibes and you were thinking, wow, could this go down into a shootout straight away? And that tension is built and it's held pretty much, you know. But then the noise comes. Then the two of them kind of, I love that kind of Timothy Olyphant just goes, hold on a second, and he walks out the door and the Krayt dragon comes. What was your reaction to the Krayt dragon coming through the town?
I was expecting something a bit different because I didn't know too much about that kind of beast. So when I heard the big noise from outside that bar, I thought that perhaps it was maybe ignorant of me, a sarlacc.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
understandable.
it
Yeah,
would be a sarlacc. Yeah, but then when they saw that the dragon, yeah, the red dragon, when they saw it appear and eat that, how is it called then? The cow buffalo
oh,
thing. That
I don't know what it's called, but it's
that,
we'll
that,
say cow. We'll
that
say
buffalo
cow.
thing, yeah,
Cow buffalo.
yeah.
Yeah,
When the dragon eats it, I really I wonder how even a show that supposedly has a way smaller scope than the movies can somehow show stuff so big and so interesting of the lore that we never saw. We got some tease in the old movies, but we never actually saw on screen moving. So I think that that scene, beside being epic and really cool, showed how much the Mandalorian can delve into the lore of Star Wars without feeling like too much fan service here.
yeah, because the Great Dragon comes in, and I was expecting a threat, maybe people or certain kind of aliens, but I wasn't expecting something so huge. It was massive. And you're right, that's something that you would see in a movie, a Star Wars movie, or even we have Dune coming out next year, and that kind of has a massive worm, I think, in it as well. You know?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
mind worm. I think I don't know.
yeah, kind of similar in a way. And I was like, how are they going to beat this thing? This thing is huge. So definitely their stare down is left off. So they have to come up with they have a common goal. So the deal that's made between the two of them is, look, I want the Boba Fett army, the Mandalorian armor. You give that to me. I'll help you defeat this Great Dragon, and the town won't have any problems anymore. So that's the deal they kind of make. And it kind of seems like that deal, would he go that far to risk his life and Baby Yoda's life for a small town just to get a piece of armor? That's where it kind of is a bit exaggerated. But again, he is a Mandalorian. That's still in his roots, and he wants to help people. So the two of them, they know. Timothy Olyphant's character says he knows what the Great Dragon is, so they have to come up with a plan. They go out to see the Sand People. Is that what they're called?
Sand people, yeah, Sand people.
Yeah. So they're on a journey to go see the Sand People, but while they're on the journey, Timothy Olyphant gives us a flashback of how his character found the armor. What did you make of the reveal of where Boba Fett's armor laid for all these years?
I found it very interesting because it's something that Star Wars fans perhaps don't appreciate a lot, because when we see stuff that was left open in the original saga, like the demise of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Spoilers, he might not be actually dead.
Yeah.
When we see stuff like that, I think that it gives a chance to the saga to grow in many ways that are not that are kind of unexpected. I heard that Temuera Morrison was going to return in the saga, but I didn't actually believe that he would be Boba Fett. That stuff, I think that is really enriches a lot the potential of the growth of the Mandalorian as the cornerstone of Star Wars saga.
Yeah, because even in the original trilogy with George Lucas, he left a lot of stuff open to be told in future films, like Boba Fett. Is he dead? Is he not dead? And different things like that. And then he brought it back for the prequels and showed a little bit of his origin story, and left it open that way too. So yeah, there is so much open stuff in the Star Wars lore. And for years we've been like, or Star Wars fans have been like, where's Boba Fett? Is he alive? Is he dead? Where exactly is Obi-Wan Kenobi? So these stories have kind of brought new stories, and probably it's an advantage for Disney Plus going forward, because they can bring all these mysteries into their shows and make it work. But yeah, we find out where he got the armor from. But his town was attacked by these kind of raiders, and they were killing people and taking over the town. He flees. He gets the Boba Fett armor. He trades for it. He comes back, and it shows how he takes down all the raiders and takes control of the town. the people look up to him as a hero, and he's kind of a sheriff now of the town, and that's his kind of backstory. But do you like the character of Cod Vant? Do you like the way that he's presented on screen?
Yeah, I heard that he was introduced in a novel, I think.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I read something there. I watched a video before I come on here. Yeah, it's the same flashback he showed us, but it's fleshed out a little bit more.
Yeah. And I really like how this character is a bit more let's not say comic, but more lighthearted than Mando, because he, like you previously said, the scene where he says, "Wait a second," and goes out of the bar to watch what's happening.
That's funny, like that really, subtle humor.
It's subtle humor. It's not the said out loud joke. It's something that breaks the tension, but without breaking the tone, the atmosphere of the scene.
Yeah,
I think that Timothy Olyphant perfectly represents embodied a character somehow, at least for me, similar to Han Solo. A bit lighthearted, but also with a backstory that is not that fun, let's say.
Yeah, and like as I said, I love Timothy and absolutely anything. And actually, I forgot one. I'm watching Fargo now, season 4, and he's also a cop and sheriff in that. So he keeps playing these. He plays, but it suits him so well, and he can play any character. But I like how when the Mandalorian meets him first, he's very hesitant of him because he's wearing a Mandalorian armor, and the Mandalorians are very critical, and they're very connected with their armor so much that they never take it off. And to see a random person wearing Mandalorian armor, that annoyed Mando a little bit, But as the episode progressed, the two of them started having a good chemistry. They started to kind of understand each other a little bit more.
Yeah, they bond, yeah.
Yeah, they do bond. And then eventually they come up with a plan with the town people and then the Sand people to defeat this Krayt dragon, to come together. And the town and the Sand people, they haven't got on together. So this is kind of a hard thing for these communities to come together now and to take out the bigger enemy, which is the Krayt dragon. But what did you think of their initial approach to the Krayt dragon when they go up with the cow and the cow is not eaten, but the Sand person is? What did you think of that little scene?
It was really fun. I really liked it. A bit grim, but really liked it. It's some subtle humor that works perfectly for Mandalorian. It's not like, if I have to criticize something from the first season, I think it might be I really loved all the episodes, but I felt like the last one, directed by Taika Waititi, felt a little slightly more comedic than the others, like with the opening with the stormtroopers, and I felt like it was like the signature of Taika, but also something that kinda shifted a bit the tone of the previous stuff. When you were talking about the other stuff, the Sand people with the villagers of how's it called? I have in front of me the name of the village.
My Star Wars lore is limited. What's it called?
Yeah, Mospelgo.
All right, okay, good job you're here, because I wasn't on that.
I have all my notes in front of me. With Mospelgo citizens, villagers, I really liked the new dynamic, because we saw in the previous season the villagers were with Gina Carano, I think, where Gina Carano and Mando fought against the soldiers.
Yeah.
In this season, seeing two rival populations come together to fight the monster was a really nice change of theme and of pace, because we never actually saw different groups of people like those coming together to somehow defeat a common goal, at least in The Mandalorian. And it was really interesting, especially for what happens next in the fight. with the beast.
Yeah, as you said, the two communities coming together, it probably wouldn't have worked unless the Mandalorian was there, because we see that scene where Cod Vanth and he's with the Sand people, and they're not really getting on, and the Mandalorian has to step in and say, "Look, we have a bigger goal here." And I see a lot of people online are applauding Disney Plus, Jon Favreau, for having the Sand people use sign language as well, which of course a lot of people in the world are deaf and stuff. So that's a great similarity, and it's always good to see those stuff in comic book movies or Star Wars movies or stuff people can relate to, because not everybody is lucky to have all their abilities and stuff like that. Some people are disadvantaged, but it's cool that they can relate to things like that. And I always love that when they implement that into huge IPs. But yeah, they come together to come up with a plan to kill this Krayt dragon. So they want to lower the Krayt dragon out of its cave or its home, and to get it to eat an animal that's strapped with bombs and stuff like that, so they can blow up the Krayt dragon from the inside. His skin is too tough to kill from the outside. So, but Mandalorian and Cod Vanth are kind of standing back a good bit, while all the villagers and the Sand people are down there doing the dirty work. And the two boys are just up at the back watching with with Baby Yoda. But what was your reaction? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But one thing I was not expecting was when the Krayt dragon opened his mouth and the acid started coming out.
Yeah, that was cool. That was so cool.
I was actually, my mouth was open because I wasn't expecting. I thought maybe he'd just eat people and stuff. But then when the acid came out and people were dissolving, that was cool. What did you think of that?
I loved how the threat that was already massive upped up itself. It was incredible, and I really loved about that scene when the Krayt dragon starts shooting this acid, this poisonous acid, I think. I love the scale of the scene because it almost felt like the screen became bigger when the Krayt dragon was on screen.
Yeah.
Because it filled the entirety of the screen with a really great use of the cinematography, so that it felt like watching it actually below the beast when it was spitting this acid. I found that it was really, really cool also to show this dragon also be so quick. When you see him at first below, outside of a cave, a Sarlacc cave, and then afterwards on top of the mountain, and then besides them, it was really, really cool to use this kind of this is a beast, this is a big beast, but he's not slow because he's big. He's also really, really fast and also really clever.
Yeah, because it's a massive beast. It's fast. It can shoot out acid. So yeah, it is very hard to beat. And I like how it wasn't big, it wasn't slow, it wasn't easy to beat. It was actually hard. But then of course Mando and Cod Vanth have to step in because things are getting bad. And the two of them they're flying together. They're using their suits. That was pretty cool. And then it looks like they've kind of defeated the Krayt dragon a little bit. The Krayt dragon goes back in and then comes to the top of the mountain and then just puts the acid out even more. So that was cool. That was intimidating. But the scene I loved is where Mando had an idea where he would get the animal close to him with the explosives and for the Krayt dragon to eat him. But it didn't just happen like that. He had Cod Vanth beside him and he says, I paraphrase now, but you mind the kid. And then he shoots, or he messes with his suit and he has to fly away. He flies away, not by his own choice, but he flies away and Mando gets eaten. But before we get to the part afterwards with Mando and the Krayt dragon, what did you think of Mando kind of choosing Cod Vanth, if something did happen to Mando, to be the one that looked after Baby Yoda?
I felt like that was the point where Mando realized that perhaps the armor was well handled by this man, by Cod Vanth, because since that point we saw Mando not skeptical, but kind of like a teacher that was teaching him how to behave with the Sand people, with the villagers, with the conflict, with the fight. And now seeing him say, now I'm going to get eaten, you take care of a child if I don't make it, was was great, but also was a bit sad because, you know, we all know that he wasn't going to die. But at the same time, he probably thought, maybe I'm going to die now, and this man is going to continue my task, and I'm going to leave the child to him. I don't know. I felt a bit emotional in that scene. It was really well done.
Yeah, and for me, it showed me that Mando has progressed. His character has changed.
Yeah.
He probably has the outlook now that the suit, the Mandalorian suit, is irrelevant. It's about who's underneath the suit. Because before, he was against people taking off their armor, wearing the armor, who weren't trained as Mandalorians, weren't born into it like he was. But now Cod Vanth wasn't. He just took the armor and he started wearing it. But it showed me that the Mandalorian has now realized that you don't have to be a Mandalorian. It's about who you are underneath the suit. And yeah, I thought that was very fitting and very kind of cool how he did choose Cod Vanth if anything did happen to him. But as it progressed, the Krayt Dragon swallows the Mandalorian and the animal and the explosives, blows it up from the inside, and Mando kind of comes out of it, really kind of cool, badass moment, and the Krayt Dragon is finally defeated. Do you think the defeat of the Krayt Dragon was big enough payoff? Do you think it ended well? Do you think it could have done more or underperformed, or maybe they could have did something a bit more extra, or was it too quick for you? What did you think of the initial defeat of the Krayt Dragon?
I think that it was handled well, because if the plan had worked from the start, it would have been, you know, a bit of a letdown, because, you know, the dragon comes out, they make the bomb blow up, but with this, it was interesting because besides the mythological, biblical themes of the belly of a beast, it was really cool to see not only the actual killing of a beast, but the aftermath, where the Sun People found those pearls, that kind of rock that I looked it up in the, I think, novels or the original saga or some non-canonical stuff. Those rocks were also used and contained, in some cases, kyber crystals.
Okay, yeah.
And so those rocks could make the lightsabers work.
Oh, very good, very good. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I found that is really interesting, because we actually see one of those stones lifted up in the sky. So maybe that's some kind of tease for things to happen in the future.
It could be something that's traded for something in the future. Maybe Mando or Cod Vanth or somebody knows that they have this pearl, and they go back and they swap something to get that to create a lightsaber or something like that. I think that wasn't just put in there out of chance or for an Easter egg. It probably will be come back to at the end of or some part of the season. But yeah, what I really like, it brings me back to my video game point. I'll talk about that in a second, but the final exchange with the Mandalorian and Cod Vanth, were you a bit disappointed that he didn't give Cod Vanth the armor to keep?
Yeah, I would have liked if he gave him the armor, because for what I understand the perspective of Mando, because it's more of an oath of a religion than a simple I made this promise. So I understand why Mando took away the suit, but I would have liked to see Cod Vanth at least keep it to protect this town, because at the end of the day, he was a pretty good Mandalorian, even though he wasn't a Mandalorian.
Yeah, he was, and he probably will come back later on in the season, I'm guessing. Too big of an actor not to bring him back, and I think maybe Mando will find himself in some sort of situation where he'll have to create his own Mandalorian-esque squad. So I think he will come back into it at some stage. But it gets me back to my video game point. The scene, like, as you said, the screen is full. And then it switches to the letterbox, the IMAX, is it? It switches to the IMAX is full screen, is it, or is it the letterbox?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. So you have the full screen, and then as Mando is getting on the rider and he's going away, it goes back into a letterbox, and that's kind of like It's brilliant.
It was incredible.
It looks like a video game. Yeah.
Yeah. The switch was really, 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 really well done. It's something that I love about Disney Plus, at least for what we saw about Disney Plus, is that with the shows they're letting them do stuff really, really that push forward what a TV show or a product by Disney is. And I think that other studios, perhaps even Warner Brothers and I don't know, with Zack Snyder's Justice League, I love how they are handling this this series a bit more on a movie level, also with the formats, with the scope, with the shooting, with the cinematography, like the usage of that new technique for the outside shoots in The Mandalorian. I think that's something that will change Hollywood forever.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Really, really great. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, so as you said, they're in kind of a studio where they're shooting all this. So this is all shot indoors, which is crazy. It's on on a sound stage, and the background, of course, is all CGI, and they switch it up, and the sets are built. So, but it is pretty cool, and especially in a world of COVID, this could be the way going forward to shoot these kind of movies and shows, because it doesn't look like it's in a box. It doesn't look like has any limits. It looks like that many other projects could do this, and maybe Zack Snyder's Justice League could do that in the future if they get a part 2. But I definitely think other movies will start trying to implement that, or other shows. But yeah, sometimes when it does that, it takes me out of the film or the show. Here it didn't. It actually it made it more. I don't know. I felt more kind of into it. One example is I'm a big fan of the Michael Bay Transformer movies. I just like them for popcorn action and stuff. But the one I didn't like was the 5th one, The Last Night. If you go back and watch that, it just took me completely out of it. I went to go see it in theaters. It goes to full screen, then it goes to letterbox. Full screen, letterbox. It switches in and out of that throughout the whole movie. And I was like, I just was not in the film. I just wasn't interested anymore. I don't know why Michael Bay decided to do that. But when you see it done well in The Mandalorian, it was done well, and I do like it. But the final shot of the episode was kind of, that's what the big discussion is about the last week. Yeah. We see a mysterious figure dressed in black looking at Mando and Baby Yoda ride off into the sunset, and then they turn, and it looks like it's Boba Fett. Teo Morrison, isn't it? Is that his first name, Teo, or Tamora?
Yeah, I think it's pronounced like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Tamora Morrison. So he's back. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's back. But the question mark is it Boba Fett? Is it one of the clones as well? Did they use his kind of look for one of the animated shows as well? Yeah. Is it a clone? Is it a bad guy? What is it? What was your reaction to the reveal of Boba Fett? Let's just say it for a minute.
I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was like, yeah, this episode was great. And then I started screaming because I really, really like Boba Fett. Wait, that's not him. Because the silhouette of Temuera Morrison is really, really distinguishable, let's say. Yeah. So I think that this reveal will bring more interesting stuff in the future for many reasons. I heard that perhaps in the season we'll see Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
So seeing Ahsoka Tano, that had a relationship in the Star Wars Clone Wars, in the animated series, with all the clones of Jango Fett, that also look like Temuera Morrison. I'd really like to see how Ahsoka would react to seeing the same face she fought with for all those years in the past.
Yeah, that's a good point.
In a more ruthless, more somewhat even evil way, because Boba Fett wasn't really the greatest, the goodest guy of them all. let's say that.
Yeah, and even in the old trilogy, he wasn't really used that much either. We didn't really get to see much of him, and his death just happened out of nowhere. In the prequels, the characters kind of fleshed out a little bit more, and then of course the kind of same template is used for the animated shows and movies. But yeah, so do you think? Yeah, he's not always been a good guy, and he doesn't look like he's a good guy now. He looks a bit angry. He looks a bit torn. But why has he stayed on Tatooine so long? And did he just give up his armor? What do you think is going to happen going forward? Do you think he's a bad guy? Do you think he wants his suit back? What do you think is going to happen with him going forward?
I think that his behavior in that scene, that small scene, to me showed how he abandoned the suit, perhaps willingly, because we know the Mandalorians are not allowed to take away their armor in any case, and the fact that he would look at this armor and just turn his face away and just say, like, visually say, I do not care anymore about this, to me shows that perhaps after the Sarlacc pit he fell into, he found some kind of enlightenment, of evolution of the character that made him believe, I do not want to be this anymore. So I think that he was wearing Sand People robes, even in the last scene. So maybe he just said, I'm living this life behind, this life of being a slave to the Empire. I just want to live all the years that I'm left with on this planet, doing what I can to survive, perhaps even protecting these people that maybe saved him, because we know that he was going to die in the Sarlacc pit, in the Sarlacc mouth. So I really can't wait to see what they're going to do with him.
Yeah, and I think when Mando was trying to find out was there many other Mandalorians out there, he heard of one on Tatooine. He went to Tatooine. It was Cod Vanth in a Boba Fett armor, but it's kind of a bit ironic as well that there was someone in the town wearing a Boba Fett armor when not so far away there was somebody who actually is Boba Fett. And it shows you again how unimportant the armor really is. There's a different person. There's a person underneath the armor. They all have different stories. But I'm interested to see if they will do a flashback or maybe a standalone episode showing what happened to Boba Fett. I think audiences will be a bit angry if we don't get some kind of background information, even if it's just a quick flashback. But I think they should tell us what went down. Why did he? What happened in the Sarlacc pit? What happened after that? How did he get out? Why did he leave the suit? So I think they should explain that to us. And I would be a little bit disappointed if they just say, if it's just him talking, oh, I just gave it up, I got out and walked away. I think there's more to it there. And as you said, as he walked away, he didn't really have a vengeance in his face and in his emotions or his eyes. He didn't seem like, all right, I'm going to get my armor back. He just kind of looked, saw what was going on, and just walked away, kind of.
It kind of reminded me of Luke had in when he was looking at the two sons in I think A New Hope.
Yeah.
Like, not entirely. He was looking at something. He was just looking at a bigger part of his life that was going away, but he wasn't sad. He was just maybe not even relieved. He was just acknowledging that that part of his life was gone forever. Maybe even for the last time, because he doesn't know that perhaps he will wear the suit again.
Yeah,
I think he will, but I don't know.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go with the prediction as well that he's kind of done with everything, but I think he's going to be drawn back into it somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Maybe he has some sort of allegiance that he has to abide by, with some sort of entity, because he was a bad guy. Everyone thinks he was dead. Now he's back, and if someone finds out that he's alive, then he could be brought back into it in some capacity. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it's done well, and it's great to see these kind of OG characters come back into this Disney Plus show, because it adds more mystery, adds more excitement, and more discussion for us. But going forward for this episode, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a brilliant opening to the episode, and if the rest of the season is as good as this, we're in for a treat. But do you think that it didn't add anything to the main storyline, the storyline with Baby Yoda, the storyline with Mando being a wanted man? Do you think it added anything to the actual storyline that we've been presented last season and that we were supposed to see this season?
Well, it gave us a bit of a context to where the seasons will go, because even if we didn't see, I don't know, Moff Gideon, we didn't see stuff about the baby Yoda, the child, we saw what Mando decide what the mission will be and how it will pursue it, with the Mandalorians following the trails of the loose Mandalorians to find these people. We also saw Boba Fett and the armor, because now we know that he will have to, I don't know, put that armor on a grave, maybe melt it for the Beskar. We don't know what he will do with the armor. And also with the introduction of a character like Timothy Olyphant, I think that we got a bit of an evolution of a character for Mando. A bit, we saw a more human side to his quest, because he could have just killed him and fly away. The fact that he chose to stay, to protect the village, to collaborate with this usurper in some way of the Mandalorian suit, showed to me that this season perhaps will make him a bit less fanatical about the code, the Mandalorian code, and a bit more, now I am alone, all of my Mandalorians are gone, I have to follow a new path that I will set.
Yeah, and like as you said, if he had chosen to just kill him, take the armor and leave, then by him choosing to be a good person and helping them out, this will stand to him in some capacity in the future. Someone in that, it could be Cod Vann, will help him in the future, or the armor could come in handy. So this mission wasn't pointless or anything. It definitely will help him going forward. But like we see in a lot of TV shows, episodes that are called filler episodes, which just fill gaps. Now this episode, it could be considered as a filler episode, but it has filler with substance. So there is character development,
absolutely,
but there's substance in it. And I'm a big fan. I don't mind shows doing filler, but have something interesting going on within the story. And here there was something interesting going on. I wasn't bored. In some episodes of shows, there's a filler episode and it's just dialogue and character development, and you're like, okay, that's a good episode.
I think that's a problem that many CW shows. I used to watch. I watch many CW shows, especially the DC ones. They have some filler episodes that actually give nothing to the plot of the series, besides maybe the last minute, the last tease of the last minute. And I think that if this is the most filler episodes we'll get on The Mandalorian, it's perfect, because the filler aspects is, at least for me, only in theory. We got the story to move forward. We got new characters, we got old characters, we got a character evolution, and also we got Baby Yoda, and that's always a plus. So I really think that this episode worked for the opening of a new series, but also as the 9th chapter of a saga that they're writing.
Yeah, and like we look at this as season 2, episode 1, but it's really chapter 9. You know, each chapter tells its own story. It serves a little bit to the overall plot, but yeah, I do like how they gave a lot of character development in this. Now, if this episode was just character development and no Krayt Dragon, it probably wouldn't have been as interesting, but the added of the Krayt Dragon made it interesting. So what is your kind of, what are you looking forward to for the rest of the season? What kind of interests you? What are you hoping to see?
I hope to see a bit more of the politics of this post episode 6, pre episode 7 world. What I think was missing from the sequel trilogy, I think, was the context of how the new order, how is it called, the First Order, how the First Order came to be. I think that this show could put the basis for the birth of the First Order, maybe even Snoke. We could hear about something about Snoke, perhaps even about Luke, because we know that in the same moment this show is happening, Luke is training, is doing Jedi stuff around the universe. He's fighting, he's with the rebels. So yeah, I hope to see this side of this political, this connective tissue between episodes, and also I hope for some lightsaber fights, because
Yeah,
Star Wars.
yeah, because I love the lightsaber battles, especially in the prequels. They're done pretty well, and I got so excited when I was watching Rogue One in theaters when Darth Vader scene happened at the end. I nearly jumped out of my seat. And then in the Last Jedi I was a bit disappointed because Luke didn't really have any cool lightsaber battles.
Yeah.
I know Mark Hamill is old and stuff, so it might be hard to do it. But would you be interested if they recast Luke Skywalker and from a younger perspective had Luke Skywalker somehow in this season, or would you be interested in a spin-off show called Luke Skywalker, just like they're doing with the Obi-Wan Kenobi or something like that? What would you be your theory or opinion on that?
Well, for now, I think that young Luke could be interesting to see, but I also don't think that Mark Hamill could return as young Luke, because even with the Irishman CGI, it would be a lot of work. I saw some fan castings about I think he's called Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier actor. That without his beard, with a short hair, kind of looks like young Mark Hamill. And I personally wouldn't mind to see, like we saw a young Han Solo, see also a young Luke Skywalker, perhaps even in The Mandalorian, to kind of show how Luke perhaps evolved from episode 6 to episode 7/8. A bit more of a not just a rookie Jedi, but a rookie Master Jedi, let's say.
Yeah.
A Master Jedi that is trying to find his way. I think that even just for the story, they're following the child going back to his people. I think that they could use the help of Luke, because Luke is, besides Ahsoka, and we'll have to know what Ahsoka actually will do in this season, if she's in this season. Luke has all the text, all the books that perhaps could even help Mando point in the right. He could point Mando in the right direction to bring Baby Yoda to safety.
Yeah, so like there is so much potential for story building and so much stuff you could do, but for now the story kind of focuses on Mandalorian, focuses on Baby Yoda. Where is Baby Yoda going to end up? What other characters that we've seen before are going to come into it, and how it's going to progress? But I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. It's action packed, it's interesting, it's engaging. The Western vibe really works for it, and I'm really liking what Jon Favreau is doing. He directed this episode and wrote. Brilliant job. He's done some great stuff in the past, and
Favreau is a really great director, and also I'm really fond of his Marvel work, his MCU work. He I think that he was usually I think online people attribute the MCU stone to Joss Whedon. I feel that the original MCU throne, the perfect MCU throne that was emulated in sometimes in a good way, sometimes in not so a good way, was Jon Favreau's with Iron Man 1 and 2. I feel that he perfectly encapsulated the tone of a superhero movie that was grounded, because those movies were kind of grounded, but also weren't as serious as many other stuff. The political aspects, I think, of Iron Man 1, the debates of a warmongering technocrat like Tony Stark against a population in Middle East, it was really well handled, and I think that his talent is perfectly shown also in the Mandalorian in these episodes.
Yeah, and like the Avengers 1 and 2 are good movies. They're good fun movies. I think Avengers 1 is a bit overrated, but I still watch it and still like it. But I would have loved to see a Jon Favreau Avengers film. Big time.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't like to see him do it in the future, because I think there's a bit too much restraint on him now. But I think if he did the 2012 one, he would have had a little bit more freedom. He would have maybe implemented a bit more of his own style into it. But nowadays it would be hard to do that. But he's doing great stuff with the Star Wars product, and I would love to see him do a Star Wars film in the future, if he could do that, or even give him
the Old Republic.
Yeah, give him that
Imagine.
trilogy. Yeah, give him that trilogy left because he has a plan. He outlines his stuff. He's brilliant in the Spider-Man films as well. Very funny, but he does very well, you know. And there's actually one thing I want to touch before we finish. I love the acting from Pedro Pascal. Is it Pedro Pascal?
Yeah. Pascal, yeah.
Yeah, his acting underneath the armor, if it's him or if it's his stunt double, is brilliant. Even though we don't get to see any emotion, and you actually feel for the relationship between him and Baby Yoda. What do you think of that?
I think that Pedro Pascal, with his acting, physical acting, but especially with his voice, with how he delivers the lines, gives Mando such a great depth. I really loved how the moment where we saw his face in the last season wasn't even the most emotional of the scenes, because even just his acting, how let's say let's talk about the opening scene in the arena.
Yeah,
that's it, where he's taunting the owner of the arena and the other soldiers. I think that he says perfectly the role of a lone soldier with a bit of a grit, but also with as a tiny bit of black dark humor.
Yeah,
where he's not just, you know, a machine. He's not a Terminator. He's someone that is mean, he's angry, but he knows it, and sometimes slightly plays with it, and Pedro Pascal does that perfectly. I really, really love his acting. I can't wait to see him in Wonder Woman 84, and I loved him as the Viper in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and like, it's not like we get to see a shot from outside the armor and then inside the armor you get to see his expression. It's all done from the outside. And look at the Iron Man films, you get to see Tony from the outside of the armor, but then it cuts into the inside. In this, you don't get to see any of that whatsoever. You get to see him act through the armor, and you actually can understand what he's doing underneath the armor without even seeing it. You can hear it in his voice, which is absolutely brilliant. But I just want to finish it there, Max. Thanks very much for coming on for the very first episode of Star Wars Matters, the breakdown spoiler edition of any Star Wars content. If you want to tell everyone who's watching where to find you online, your social media accounts, go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, I wanted to thank you for inviting me. It was awesome. I really loved discussing with you about this lovely episode. You can find me on Twitter. My @ is @supersbatsy. I love to talk about movies, DC, Marvel, general stuff, TV shows. And if you want to check me out on Vero, my @ is @Massimiliano Orione.
Good stuff. That's good. So so hopefully we'll have you back maybe in future episodes. I'm trying to have a different guest each week. Krypton Cage is supposed to come on some of the weeks as well, so definitely going to get that done. But Max, thanks very much. Man. Yeah, he is. He's the best. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Take care, man.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye.